Phenomenal morning, guys. Phenomenal morning. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Sean Rais. You already know we are extremely excited. Wait until you find out why. Bobby Jackson, what's going on, brother? How are you feeling this morning?
Feeling phenomenal, coach. I wrote down, don't lose your edge. I wrote down, don't lose your edge this morning. So it was me thinking about Muhammad Ali. And I started thinking about use your edge. When you use your edge before you lose your edge was kind of like what I wrote down. And I thought about Muhammad Ali, and I thought about what was his name? Mike Tyson. And Muhammad Ali told Mike Tyson to, whoop up on this young dude that beat up on Ali when he was an older guy. So I don't know.
I remember.
Yes.
I remember.
So Ali took a beating, but he was old Ali. And people were like, you didn't have to do that to the greatest. Like, he's older. And then Mike Tyson came in and, cleaned this guy up. But what made me think about Ali was Ali made the most of his moment in the moment. Like, he had his time where he was the greatest. And he had his time when he was Parkinson's and he was slower and he wasn't the guy. But when he had his edge, he made use of his edge before he, lost his edge due to just times and opportunities. And, certain opportunities have a lifetime and a life cycle. And Ali made the most of his time.
Let me just tell everybody, share this out, guys. Share this out. Take a moment. Go ahead and, sharing is caring. So take a moment, share this out, because we're going to get really, really clear this morning. Really clear. I'm going to give you something that I really kind of saved for the back end. I'm going to give you something that I really kind of saved for the back end, give you a little taste of what takes place in the community, because I know that you have been lied to. And we're going to stop it this morning. Let's grow. There's slow growth, and then there's scale. There's incremental growth, and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental. We're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence. Add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys. So what did I mean when I said that you've been lied to? What did I mean by that? And it's Phenomenal Fridays, guys. Phenomenal Fridays. And Fridays, I just like to talk about finances, right? Fridays, I want to talk about your financial standing because this is payday, right? I can remember, I used to have a job, so I can remember it's payday today. So some people are extremely happy today. Other people are extremely sad today. because it's not their payday, and it used to be their payday. What I want you to know is that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday can be your payday, and you can add a 0 to those paychecks every single day. So what's the gap? Why aren't more people doing that? Why aren't more people taking advantage of it? Because people don't really know what it requires. People don't really know what it requires, guys. Let me help you guys out real quick. Motivation is good, but it doesn't require that. Motivation is good. It's good to be motivated, good to feel charged up, but it doesn't require that. What it requires is a realistic understanding of what it takes. A realistic understanding of what it takes to be successful. You need to know what it really takes. Because a lot of times, there's this, I don't want to say this disease, but there's a calamity. There's a calamity. There's an epidemic of emotions. There's an epidemic of emotions where people believe that if they feel great about something, that something's going to happen because they feel great about it. I'm energized. I'm excited. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. I'm feeling really good. Motivational Mondays, right? Motivational Mondays do not equate to money. I just want to help everybody understand this. Like, motivational Mondays do not equate to money. What equates to money? Understanding what it really takes and the willingness to do what is required. Very simple. Very simple. Some of your most successful people are not extremely emotional. Some of your most successful people, most extremely successful executives. Look at the executives. Look at the professionals. Do they seem extremely or overly excited? Or do they seem very serious about business? Do they seem very, very focused, very informed, and heavy on the execution? That's what I want you to understand. It's going to take more than you think. We're in a world where it's online and everybody's talking about funnels and, marketing funnels, and you got to put people through the funnels, and funnels cost this much money, right? But very few people talk about the sales funnel. The sales funnel. And what that requires and what that really, really looks like. So I got a question. I want to help you by asking questions, right? That's what coaches do. Coaching is a future-focused, goal and action-oriented process. Notice what I said. I'll say it again. Coaching is a future-focused, North Star, future-focused, goal and action-oriented process. Emphasis on action and emphasis on process. So my question is, how many actions are you taking to bring revenue in? Phenomenal morning, Bobby. Let's open up.
Man, I wrote down Fridays are about finances, and I wrote down under that it's payday. And
Yeah.
I want to open up with this when you ask that particular question, because it's payday for me too. But instead of me getting paid, I'm paying people. It's Friday, so I got to pay my people. I got to pay my employees. So it's payday for me too. So I thought that was an interesting way.
Look at the code shift.
Right. Look at the code shift.
Look at the code shift. How many years ago? How many years has it been now?
3 years now. This is going on year 4 that I've been paying people, employees, and 1099 individuals for their time and their services.
And let's be real clear about this, because I know everybody watching would love to be doing the same thing. I'm sure that everybody watching would love to be cutting checks. So this is what it is, right, guys? Bosses give checks. Bosses give checks. Other people receive checks. You want to decide which one you want to be. Who do you want to be in your business? Do you want to be the person that receives checks, or do you want to be the person that gives checks, or do you want to be the person that receives checks and then from those checks dispenses checks? So, okay, Bobby. So today you're giving checks, but what did you have to do in order to receive checks to be able to give checks?
Yes, sir. And that's that's exactly where I was thinking about going with it too. So that's a perfect opening. What I have to do is I have to make sure that every action that I take is in alignment with generating either revenue or maximizing the business system. So those are like the two things that I think about most. And I'm just being very transparent with you guys. Like there's a lot of things you can be thinking about in your business, but in my stage of business development, going from the 6 to 7 space, it's like the main thing I'm thinking about is how much more revenue can we generate? And what are we already doing that works? And how can we do more of that? So for me personally, it looks like maintaining relationships. So that's one thing. Are the people opening our emails? Are our emails being producing lead magnets? Are the call to actions effective? All of those different things go into just me making sure that we're nurturing. The other side of that could look like our DM and outreaches. Are we reaching out to quality leads? Are we getting good people talking back to us saying that they're interested in what we're doing? Are we surveying people? Are we continuing to keep our fingers on the pulse? So those are just a few things that we do. And full transparency, again, these are things that I get better at doing each year. You know, so the first year I didn't know to send out multiple surveys in a year. I sent out like one. And that one survey changed my business. But over time, I was like, okay, maybe I should send these out quarterly. And then, okay, maybe I should systematize this. Okay, now that it's a part of the system and it goes out regularly, maybe I should have somebody on my team overlook how many people are responding to our surveys. So all of those things come over time. And those are little things that we do to systematize and refine the system, but also to continue maximizing and generating revenue.
Very good. Very good. Now, for the listeners, right? For the listeners, I want to ask you, what activities are you taking? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. I want to see, where are the people at? I want to see what you're actually doing. What is the activity? Because money follows movement. Results are responses to actions taken. If I don't talk to you about action, then I'm not really talking to you about anything that's going to change your life or or move the needle in your business. If I'm not focused on the actions that you need to take in order to move your business forward, then I'm literally wasting your time. Please understand that, write that down, underline that. If someone is not talking to you about the actions that you must take in order to change your state, they are actually wasting your time. I just don't want you to get caught up in the fluffy spider webs, guys. I don't want you to get caught up in the cobwebs of fluff and high-level emotions with no results, because there's a lot of that. There's like a calamity of that going around. There's a pandemic of delusional expectation. People have delusional expectation of results from no action. Maybe if I feel this way, I'll get results. Things will change for me. And let me tell you something. What changes your state is doing consistent actions that are measurable and reality changing. They produce results. So let me ask a question real quick. And I don't see any comments. So when I ask for the activities that people are doing, it's crickets. Activities. What are the activities that you're doing consistently in order to bring in revenue? So real quick, right? How many calls are you making? How many calls are you making? How many doors are you knocking on? How many messages are you sending? How many new people are you meeting? No fluff. No fluff. You know why? You know, Bobby, I'm looking at people and I'm hiring people all the time. I'm always hiring salespeople, sales representatives, sales development. I'm always Hiring. I'm always hiring. You have to always be hiring, guys. You always have to bring people into your business because people are how you're going to grow your business. You bring in clients, you bring in staff. You bring in clients, you bring in staff, right? But when you look for salespeople, a lot of times you'll see I write sales copy. Or you understand, like you put it out there like, okay, sales, etc. And when you receive people's responses, it's not the actions that actually bring the revenue. It's far removed. It's to the side. And everybody wants to wait to see what the results are. And they take a passive, how do you say, a passive aggressive a passive aggressive stance towards the actual things that will move the needle in your business and grow revenue, which is making contact. Business is a contact sport. Write that down. Business is a contact sport. It's a physical sport, not a mental sport, not an emotional sport. It's a spiritual sport that becomes physical, just like your body. It's a physical sport that it's a spiritual sport that becomes physical when you actually pick up your phone and touch someone, a live person on the other end, and present them with an opportunity. So my question to you on this clarity day, let's have clarity today, is are you doing that? And if not, why? It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile. He's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. I said Sean Ra'is. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so we want to help you go from motivation to methods. Motivation to methods, and from inspiration to implementation. Actually, the doing piece. So one thing that I said in the community meeting, one of my community meetings last night, was we want to go from human beings to human doings. Because the doing of the thing is what produces the results.
Wow. As I think through this and I write down the different things that I've done and that I'm doing, and we talked about this yesterday, you think you're going hard until you're around people that are really going hard, right? So one of the things that I thought about was burn the lines. And that's a concept that I heard a gentleman talk about that I've used personally, and I want to share it with you guys as we think about sales. So I remember, so burn the line simply means get on the phone and don't stop calling until you get a close, until you get like whatever you are on the phone for. If it's leads, if it's money, if it's a deal, set the intention and don't put the phone down until you've achieved it, right? So they call that burning the lines. And I remember there were many times where I found myself right there. And here's the funny thing, and I'm gonna punch myself in the stomach right now as I say it, because it's an interesting thing. I would always find myself doing this at the end of the month. And I would always hear myself and my coach say, if you know the results of doing this, why do you wait to the end of the month to do it? And I still don't know why, but obviously I know why. It's because the body executes at a different level when there's pressure. So if you have more and more and more pressure on you as the time dwindles down, obviously your body goes into fight or flight and you do whatever you think is possibly going to work. And you're like, fine, I'm going to stay on this phone until somebody pays me. And sometimes that's just what it has to be. But I say that to say this. After doing that so many times, I started getting a little bit smarter. I said, okay, I know I got to burn the lines. I might as well count how many lines I got to burn. And then I started saying, oh, I got to burn like 50 lines before I get somebody. So then I said, maybe I should burn 50 lines a day. Maybe that'll help me. And I realized that if I did that and if I told my team to do that, that we got better results. So I say all of that to say one of the things that you might want to do if you're in that space where you're getting money, you're making deals, but you're not getting enough of them a day, because that's my goal right now. My goal is making money every day. Then, hey, try that strategy. Burn the lines. Do whatever it takes to get as many phone numbers as you can that are in alignment with your ideal client and burn the lines.
You know how you got something that works? Like, I want to help people find out and realize the difference between cognitive and collateral. Cognitive and collateral. So cognitive is your assumptions, preconceived notions, beliefs, aspirations. Cognitive, hopes, wants, expectations, suppositions. Those are all cognitive. Collateral is cash collected. Collateral is tangible, reality, physical, seen, touched, investable, spendables, receivables, dinero, yen, change, hundreds, bands, whatever you call it. Big difference. Cognitive, feely good emotional mumbo jumbo. Collateral, what you can pay your rent with, what you can pay for your car with, what you can pay your people with. Two different things. Worlds apart, diametrically opposed. Most people try to pay for things with their intangibles until they find themselves in a predicament where they can't pay their people or can't pay their rent or can't pay their credit bill. Guys, we're literally in 2024 and people are still paying for the stuff they bought in 2022 that they didn't earn. They put it on a credit card. They still ain't paid off yet because they're caught in this chasm of death, this cycle of economical illiteracy, where they believe that if they just change their mind, then the reality will change, and it won't. That's not business. Business is converting conceptual to contextual, concept, the cognitive to the collateral. You get paid for IP, but if your IP stays inside of your mind, then it's never converted into gold. Business is alchemy, the conversion process of ideas, thoughts into base metals, gold and silver, the things that you can pay your rent with. So let me just show you when I started, I said people don't realize what it takes. Everybody's talking about funnels, and nobody understands what a sales funnel is. Let's just say, and this is a big say, but I want you to understand something. I don't want to play games with you. This is Friday. You should be getting paid, and you should be paying people. You should have been paid all week. You should have been getting paid every single day at multiple different times. And you should be paying people right now. I want you to understand what it takes. I don't want to feed your mind with a whole bunch of emotions and have you feeling great when you get off the call and then wondering what to do. Let's just say your conversion rate, your closing rate is 40%. Let's just say, let's make an assumption. Now, let me ask you, Bobby, because everybody knows what you do, how you do it, and what you're doing right now. So they probably trust you, hopefully. Hopefully you can trust 400% revenue growth year after year after year. If not, then you probably need to go somewhere else. I don't know why not. But anyway, what would you say about a 40% conversion rate? Would you say that's pretty good?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, isn't it? 40% conversion rate is pretty good. Pretty expletive good, right?
Right.
It's really pretty good, guys. A 40% conversion rate is pretty good. Now watch this. If you call 100 people, knock on 100 doors, go on 100 DMs, speak to 100 people, or try to contact 100 people, you're probably going to connect with 50 of them. I hope you're paying attention. This is your sales funnel. If you reach out to 100, you're probably going to connect with 50. 25 of them will be decision makers. So a quarter out of the 100 that you initially reach out to will be decision makers, which means they will have the ability. The other people will be kids, spouses. What do you call them? Answer machines. Out of those 25, 10 will be qualified leads. 10% out of 100 will be qualified leads. Most people don't even get that far. Most people don't even reach out to 100. And they wonder why they're not successful or making capital gains. This is the difference. Smiling and dialing, 100. Reaching and connecting, 50. Quantifying and qualifying, 25. You're left with 10. Out of those 10, you give presentations to 5. Out of those 5, if, and this is a grandiose if, very generous if your conversion rate is 40%, you close 2. Most people close 1 if they're lucky. We teach closing like a leader to help you get all of your percentages up. So instead of 2, you might close 3 or even 4. And if your branding is right, you push away the unqualified and only bring in the qualified. So your presentation rate goes up because your lead count goes up, because the people that are decision makers are the only people that want to talk to you. We're talking about increasing your numbers. Most people don't have a clue what their numbers are. No clue at all. They're motivated. They're just excited. They're on cloud 9, which means they're delusional. I want to bring you to reality. 100 smiling and dialing, connecting with 50, 25 decision makers, 10 leads, 5 presentations, 2 closes. Now, what are your prices? What are your numbers? What are your numbers? Out of those 2, if your commission is $500, you made $1,000. If you don't do that every day, you're broke. If you're a business owner and you pay people and you don't do that every day, you can't. That's why you're a solopreneur. That's why you're teetering on frenetic and can't sleep. That's why you're anxious. That's why Friday is horrible for you. I want Friday to be phenomenal for you. I want you to be excited about cutting checks for other people. And you can't be that with just some inspirational stuff. You need data. You need hard data. You need factual information. And then you need to take action and commit to the process. Remember, coaching is a future-focused, goal and action-oriented process. Emphasis on action and emphasis on process. This is not fluffy Friday.
Man, as I wrote these numbers down and I thought about my team and how we're doing things, I remember one thing that you shared with me. And if I remember correctly, it was something to the tune of, you want to have a sales organization, something where everybody on the team knows how to sell. And depending on where you guys are in your business, you know, that was a very big transformative coaching point for me, because I was the only one in my business that was bringing in cash. And
that's right.
When you're the only person bringing in cash and you're the only person cutting the checks,
Woo.
well, that can be a very tense environment and a very, it's just, you know the feeling. If that's you, you know the feeling of like you're cutting checks, people are coming to you, you're looking for results, but you find yourself paying for time.
Being the only one creating results.
Only one creating results, paying for time, realizing that time is not money. No, results is money. Time is just something that people have and misuse oftentimes.
So you're on cloud nine, you're delusional, you're cutting checks to people who aren't putting money and revenue back into the business. You're basically like the dancing bear.
And that's what I was realizing before I got our team coaching like a leader, like everybody's got it now, or excuse me, closing like a leader. And we put together a little regiment program, and it's where we just continue to go through it. And I say all of that to say this: do you have a sales organization? Especially if you're paying people. Like if you're a team of 3, 4, 5 people, are you the only one that knows how to close? And do you know how to close? Like, do you feel confident in your ability to take someone from, I met them, I introduced my brand to them, I turned them from a cold lead or a prospect that's interested into an individual that is looking to do business with me, and I handled all the objections phenomenally. I created a luxurious experience, and I was able to collect the cash in a professional and executive way, and they're happy to do business with me. Like if you can do that, then you're a closer, okay? And there's not a lot of closers out there if you are closing high ticket. You know, in my experience, like everybody's closing something, but they're probably using a funnel like we've been talking about today. Like, hey, click on this, click on that, click on this. But are you really able to get on a call with someone, look them in their eyes, handle their objections, see their fear, see their pain, know that they have a decision they want to make, and they're depending on you to help them make the right decision? Can you do that for them? And if you're the only one on your team that can do that, then you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. And if you can't do that, then there's probably a whole lot of money being left on the table.
That's right. Now look at what Luana says. If somebody's closing at 40% rate, they are rocking. And that's a fact. They're knocking it out of the park. So let's do this. Let's say your closing rate is 20%. If your closing rate is 20%, which most people's probably are not, this is why you're not making revenue. This is why you're not closing deals. This is why it doesn't make a difference what kind of business you ideate. The LLC that you actually incorporate and the business that you create will have a very short life cycle, because sales, revenue, income is the lifeblood of the business. All that hype stuff will not pay your bills. The last seminar that you went to will not pay your car note. Sure, you went, sure, you enjoyed it. But if you were not focused on making the right connections so you could close the right deals, then you lost. You lost. And if you're not doing this every single day, then you are losing. Slowly or fastly. I don't want to lie to the people this Friday. Is that all right? Like, I don't want to contribute to the businesses lost in this country. I don't want to contribute. The Breakfast with the Brand is not about that. We're not here to make you feel great. Hopefully you feel great. I tell people all the time, I say, hopefully you're motivated. I've been told that I can motivate, and I've been called motivational. However, I'm not a motivational speaker. I don't think anything I just said was extremely motivational. unless you like practical reality. If you like practical reality, then I'm your guy. If you want to make a ton of money, then I'm your guy. If you want to make a ton of impact, if you want to earn your independence, then I'm your guy. But if you want to feel great and have your endorphins shoot through the roof, I'm probably not that person. I can almost guarantee you that I'm not that person. You need something. You need the circus. Like, we go to the circus for that stuff. I want to help you make money. I want to help you change your life. I want to help you change your business. And the only way you're going to do that is with sound, practical, evidence-based facts, and then the ability to know what to do to take action. Because when people increase their competence, then they increase their confidence. And confidence is what's required to take the action. Confidence and discipline. Confidence and discipline. Because there's going to be days. What happens when the honeymoon effect wears off? What happens when the honeymoon wears off? Okay, great. Let's relate the revenue to the relationship. We get married. We're inspired. We're extremely motivated. Man loves girl. Girl loves man. Everybody's in love. Everything is perfect. And then the honeymoon is over. And then people wake up with the morning breath. And it's like, you don't look like a model anymore. You don't look like a model anymore. We had pizza last night with a bunch of garlic, so the morning breath is like atrocious. Someone tells you to stop calling them. Atrocious. Someone tells you to lose their phone number. Atrocious. Someone calls you something that is unbecoming of a human being and is reserved for anything but a child of God. Atrocious. You don't feel so confident. You don't feel so motivated. That's when your discipline kicks in. That's when your training kicks in and you know what to do and how to handle it. And you smile and dial. And you say, phenomenal, let's go. And you get excited because you're being pushed away. And because they're trying to contain you, you actually feel excitement. That's a different thing. That's a completely different phenomenon than the endorphins. I need to help you guys because I want you to be successful. And if I lie to you and make you, if I just want fans, then you're not going to make money. If I say things to you to make you feel contemplated and elated and puff you up with a whole bunch of fluffy anecdotes and quotes, it's not going to help you. It's not. It's just not going to help you. Look at add dedication to the mix with discipline. Yes, you must be dedicated. You must be dedicated, which brings us back to the whole topic. There has to be someone in your life that you love enough to do the hard work. And if you don't know how to sell, if you don't know how to close deals, then you need closing like a leader. If you don't know how to brand yourself effectively, if you're not bringing the leads in the right way, then you need branded like a leader. If you don't know how to speak and how to articulate, then you need speaking like a leader. If you don't know what to do with people after you close them and you can't coach them and help them through the sticking points of the sale, then you need coaching like a leader. It's not a negotiable. It's not a negotiable. Listen to what happens if you don't know how to do this stuff. If you don't know how to do this stuff, you have to work for someone who does. If you don't know how to do this, what I'm telling you right now, then you have to go and apply for a job with an organization that has figured out closing, has figured out sales, has figured out speaking, and figured out the presentation, figured out the sales funnel, not the marketing funnel, not the marketing funnel, and not someone who does the writing and the headlines, someone who actually cuts and brings in the check. This is business. Yeah. This is branding. This is leadership. Changing your state.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to a break. I just want this to resonate with people. I want people to understand that we're not here for the hype and the hypnotism. Not this morning. Not any morning after this. Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Raiz. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
I don't think I have much more to say. Everybody here should have their sales funnel now.
I think so. I think so. And it seems like the media and just the things that we watch, the things that are put out there on timelines almost make us believe that we don't have to sell. It really does. It makes it seem like you don't need sales. All you need is a good product. You don't need to sell. Like, all you need is a good idea. Like, I think that it's very, very interesting when you think about what, I'll put it to you like this. Entrepreneur said it brilliantly. He said the people that have monopolies want you to believe that they don't have one, and the people that don't have one want you to believe that they do. In other words, a monopoly means you control all of the market and you set the prices. And the entrepreneur was saying that, and I believe it was Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel said, if I have a monopoly like Google or Amazon or Netflix, so to speak, and my goal is to maintain that monopoly, the last thing that I'm going to do is convince you that I have one, because there's laws that try to get monopoly shut down. So if I am in business and I'm making sales every single day, and I want to keep making sales, the last thing someone that's not trying to, so to speak, help you infringe on their territory is let you know how hard they're working to make sales. So it's really the same concept. So I just want you guys to think about it like this. As we, iron out the rest of this morning, we talk about the sales from this perspective. If you are making sales daily, what is the result of daily sales? And this is from a finance standpoint. So I'm giving you guys the finance piece. This is Financial Friday. I'm leaning into my CFO space because that's what I do for businesses and for clients. So in the CFO space, if I were to talk to a client, I would say to them, you're making sales every day, or you're going through the process of making sales every day, how much energy are you expending and what's the return on the energy? Like, this is CFO coaching at this point. This is consulting, so to speak. If you wanted to think about it that way, right? And they would tell me what that is. Then I would say, based on how much energy you're expending in sales and the result of what you're getting back from that activity, what is your sales numbers? What is your revenue? And if that number is, say, 0 or less than operational expenses, then I would tell them this business model without adequate funding is not viable. And then I would tell them, even if you got this funded, I'm really trying to help you guys, but I hope I'm not going too deep. But like, if you even fund this, let's say you're going through the sales activity, but the sales activity is not generating returns on activity, and you have operational expenses coming in. At this point, you have a business model that is not viable. If you went out and borrowed money, which many people do, which is why I'm trying to help you. If you went out and borrowed money to compensate, I'm talking from lived experience, to compensate for the money that you're not making, what you'll find yourself is with an interest payment from a bank or a loan institution that you cannot pay. And that's because the sales is not working. So what I really advise everyone that heard this, that shared this out, that's a part of building their business, is to really take seriously the concept of no money, no business. That's what I tell my clients. If you don't have money coming in, you don't have a business. And if you don't have money coming in surplus of operational and financial expenses, you don't have a viable business. And all of these things are the things that I went to school for, with my background being entrepreneurship with a concentration in finance and economics. So everybody that's starting a business, that's the entrepreneurial process. Managing an existing business is business management. So if you're in the scaling, growing, and explosive 400% revenue growth for 3 consecutive years, that came from entrepreneurial savvy and competencies, not necessarily from a business management standpoint, because I wasn't managing something that was already systematized. I was creating something that needed to be systematized. And that's some of the things that I learned from Branding Like a Leader, Marketing Like a Leader, Coaching Like a Leader. All of those different things help me turn my ideas and my energy, my experience, education, and expertise into actual viable revenue generating activity that was consistent, sustainable, and produced exponential returns. So I just really wanted to give you guys that difference between entrepreneurship and business ownership, because a franchise is a business. It's already created. You buy it, you work the system. But if you don't have the competencies to turn an idea into a system, then you're dead in the water. That's entrepreneurship. We are entrepreneurs, not per se business owners. We become business owners after we elevate, so to speak, or graduate from being entrepreneurs, saying we had an idea and we turned that idea into something that was systematizable and predictable.
This has been an MBA. Today is your MBA. Forget all the fluff stuff. If you didn't go anywhere else but here today and you took action on this today, you'll be a millionaire next year. Nothing else matters. You have to take it that seriously. So I talked about dialing, connecting, decision-making, leads, presentation, and close. So watch how I put together my business. And how Bobby just said all of the things that he learned turned his idea into capital and income. So if you want to increase the dials and increase the differentiation between when you call someone and someone else calls someone, that's branded like a leader and marketing like a leader. When you call, they know your brand. They know your marketing. They can Google you and see you. You're edifiable. You're the real thing. You're tangible. You're results-based. You're evidence-based. You're the real person. You're the guru. You're the go-to. You're the only viable option in your vertical. Even if they don't know you, as soon as they Google you, they're like, oh no, Lawana, she's the real person. Oh no, Bobby, wow. Oh yeah, I see you. Oh, branded, marketing like a leader. Connecting to get them to the connection piece. That's speaking like a leader. You have to be able to articulate yourself and speak while you're on the phone. to find out who is the decision maker. Now, when you find the decision maker, that's coaching like a leader. So from branding and marketing like a leader to speaking like a leader to coaching like a leader. Now you're asking questions, you're edifying, you're giving information, you're asking open-ended questions. So you're listening, clarity, active listening, those things that are taught in coaching like a leader, evidence-based. This is not motivational. I haven't said motivation yet. It's not inspirational. I haven't said inspiration yet. It's evidence-based skill, not hype, not hope. Hope is not a strategy. Okay, so we go from coaching to now consulting. Now you got to lead. Now the coaching gets you to the qualified lead. You ask an open-ended questions. You listen intently for the result. You're like, okay, this person's not qualified. Okay, this person is qualified. I can help this unqualified person become qualified. And then you begin consulting, which means advising on how you can help them, explaining the efficiency of your craft, your previous results. You're showing testimonials. You're showing evidence of your efficacy. You're showing evidence of your frameworks. You're advising. You become a trusted advisor, and then you move into closing like a leader. All of the things that we have taught help you raise every single segment of the sales funnel and cycle and help you increase your closing rate from 20% to 90%, because you're not on calls with people who aren't qualified. And you train your ears to hear the unqualified immediately. And then your messaging and your marketing is such that when a person sees you in the marketplace, they're like, no, I can't do this. This is going to be too expensive. So you don't waste time. So you can increase your efforts and reduce the time it takes to increase your efforts. This is business done right. This is revenue done right. These are results done right. And there's nothing motivational about it. This is business. We might change this to business with the brand, but this is your breakfast with the brand. And I'm your host, Sean Rais. Let's grow.